All right, we're recording.
It's good to talk on.
We're recording now, but we got to talk about our cloudy guest.
Okay, so we're back for episode 70-something with the Cutler Cast. We have the mind in the house, which we appreciate you coming out here.
We
man.
have the cloud.
Listen, no. He said his mind was a little fuzzy because he just had some issues lately.
Yeah, I had a car accident a week ago, actually,
What,
15th. On the 15th, I was rear-ended, and my brain is not all there, to be honest.
Can I ask you something
Yeah.
random? How many car accidents has your car been in like the last year?
Don't say that. He's trying to sell it.
He's not buying. Nobody's buying it on here.
Yeah, two.
All of our fans are as broke as we are.
This was major. I mean, I just came back from neurologist. I had a MRI scan and obvious concussion, right? Thank God there was no bleedings. But, yeah, I'm forgetful. I can't speak. Hopefully it's not going to affect me too much because I love to speak with you guys. So if I start...
so does this mean maybe you'll say some stuff on this podcast you shouldn't say?
So
we're going to wind you up.
I can have a good excuse. I was affected. No, I'm better. Well,
that's good. At least you're healthy. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, was it like serious damage to the car?
Yeah, it's probably going to be totaled. Yeah.
Holy! I didn't know that.
There was a
You didn't see the pictures?
four car chain accident. The guy hit me, then I hit the car in front, and they hit another car.
Wow!
I don't know if I told you in the first car there was like 3 little babies, which was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's
imagine,
terrible.
yeah. But nothing happened, thank God.
That's terrible.
Well, listen, we appreciate you coming on, man. I know it's we wanted to get you hot off the presses of what just went on, but first we're going to start with. We're going to back up a little bit because we haven't had you on in a minute. We really wanted to get your opinion, your biased opinions.
My biased opinion.
Dude, listen, we need to start the Biased Coach clothing line.
Okay, so Pittsburgh Pro. I'm looking at the list here, and we had Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. Okay, it was a stellar. I think probably the best ever condition guys, whatever. So we had Nick, Hunter, Derek. We had Clarita in there, Rami, Samson. I know there was one other guy that
there was Mike Holsey. Mike Holsey, he just turned pro. He's a friend of mine from Australia. I used to coach him. He just competed in Cal Pro yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I was already asked who impressed the most, and then when I would even mention something, here it is, bias coach. So let's put it this way. Last year, Derek Lansford's appearance was a shocker. Mm-hmm. I mean, probably the biggest shock the world of bodybuilding has seen in the recent years. So we were kind of anticipating which Derek is going to show up now. Really, when you come, still super impressive, by all means.
Improved.
I don't know, when I compare 2022 to 2023 Pittsburgh, which version was better. It's about the same. One thing, that they criticize him, he needs to improve the quads and leg overall mass. It's there. It's like major. I mean, his legs are huge. So Derek's, yeah.
What do you see? What else would you say that he needs to work on just from seeing that there?
Still hardness, the detail from the front, upper body from the front, not from the back. From the back, he's pretty much untouchable. That V-tapered, super striated, detailed back with hamstring glutes. Yeah, I don't know if he can be beaten in that pose, backdoor biceps pose. But from the front, there's no striations on the chest. There's no tie-ins and separation like brachialis, biceps, triceps, shoulders. It's still not happening, right? Honey Rainbow was saying a couple of years ago when I talked to him, he still needs maturity and it's going to come. And then it didn't really come last year. I think still when he competed, he got first place votes from some judges, even with that lack of detail. So that is going to be absolutely necessary for him to maybe challenge Hadi Chupan, who is super striated, deep abs, chest sliced and diced. So Derek is still not there. God-given shape and enough mass. I mean, he is 212 going into the open and holding his own in a size department. So he's super, super impressive. I still don't like his rodeo drive, front position of his legs. He has a huge leg, so he doesn't need to position them like he already knows that he needs to make them appear bigger.
I think the issue, though, and listen, the guy looks phenomenal. You know, we always could make improvements, all of us, right? Even, you know, I'm talking as an Olympia winner. I think, you know, the inner thighs are really big, and I think that maybe because of his width, you know, if you don't get that crazy outer sweep, you know, you don't get that. Hence, that's why I think he positions his legs the way to show more flair, right? Because he's so wide. I know his waist is small, but when you have that crazy wide torso, you know, you remember you need that big X to go down to the waist and the hips, and then the flare from the top of the quad out, right?
Yeah, but you know, if you look
and
back,
and Hadi has that.
Yeah, Hadi has that. But 70s, 80s, 90s, we used to keep feet together, as it was requested by the IBB, and judges will call it, keep feet together. You see?
You know who Sean Roden always did that.
Yeah, I mean...
always had feet straight together.
Yeah.
Remember Ronnie Coleman, how close his were?
I competed so many times, and when Jim Mannion would say feet together, right? And then if you spread, they would... mention it. So I don't like that. I don't think anybody likes it, but it's kind of accepted. So Derek, you can.
But overall, looking at him, you think he's doing his homework.
He is phenomenal. I mean, listen,
he's doing his homework.
He already won in some judges' eyes. So he is a winner in some Olympia judges' eyes from last year, close to Hadi Choopan. So going into the show, he is favorite. Definitely. I mean, if he had a whole year to make improvements. Size of the leg is dramatically improved. From a back, it's going to be very hard to beat him, including Hadi Choopan. Hadi Choopan, Mr. Ripped, was not ripped enough, to beat Derek in those two poses. But from the front and the side, Derek still needs to get that hardness and quality.
Is that something that he can? Is that just a genetic thing?
Somebody was saying recently, I don't know, one of the experts, how they've seen. The striations and detail on Derek's chest and shoulders and arms. And I don't know. I haven't seen it. In any pictures, any Instagram videos, it's just not same level like Hadi Choopan.
But Hadi's like
an
extreme, like he's...
Yeah, Mr. Olympia. Yeah.
Okay, what else? Who else did you see? Go down to the next person.
Nick Walker. Great. I mean, listen... I hope I'm going to train you, Nick. You said you're going to do it. We're going to do legs. I've seen him pose in a torture gym. Jesus Christ. Conditioning is always there, and he's just expanding. The chest that need to improve is already dramatically improved. Waist is going down for, I don't know how, but whatever he's doing, he should continue. Absolute freak. You think that his back double biceps is the only back double biceps that can match Derek, and they can go, toe to toe. I don't know. I mean,
now you know what? It's super impressive about Nick's, like his back double is the arm size.
Yeah.
You're looking at, when he throws his arms back, like there's just so much detail, like the triceps hang in the biceps. Crazy, right?
Arms are ridiculous, really.
And I think, when we talk about back double, it's a combination, right? So that those things should be inclusive, just like the legs. And, you obviously have to have the hardness and the lower body. I mean, obviously you can work on more separation because against Derek, like you said, it's going to be hard to beat him from back if anyone will or won't, right?
Yeah. Because Derek has a more extreme V-taper, right? Mm-hmm. So back double biceps of Nick Walker is super, super impressive. Even hamstring glutes look great. He has those semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris, all these lines, from the back, for sure. I don't like his foot position, but then I had to conclude it doesn't matter that he's keeping feet so wide apart. It looks great. It looks super impressive. And like I said, arms are so ridiculous. It's still called back double bicep. So how can you ignore it? I think that... So Nick was great in the posing, and he is now 282.
Better than last year.
Yeah. Yes. He's super motivated and hungry, and he wants to.
Do you understand why, when we spoke about this earlier in the season, and all these times when people thought that you were hating on him, which you weren't?
Absolutely,
you
not.
just didn't see probably what you see today, right? Meaning the work ethic and the training and the focus and the belief. Because it's the one thing, believe you can win. You work that into reality, right?
You did it.
Yes.
Many people did it. I mentioned this. I failed to do that. One time only when I saw myself a winner, I did win. But Nick Walker, talking to him at Dragon's Lair, like way before the Olympia, he actually saw it, that he can win the contest. And he plays third, which is just 2 steps away, and he is hungry to win it. I wish him nothing but the best. I love the guy. Absolutely. So Mom and Dad that I talked to, they were so against me because how can you talk? I don't talk anything negative. I just express my opinion and my mind. But when I look pose by pose, Nick Walker is super hard to beat from side chest, side triceps. From the back double biceps, super competitive. Most muscular, super competitive. Because of the legs, front double, with the craziest biceps you've ever seen in your life, it still doesn't look that good, and an ab shot, because abs and thighs, right? Those are the poses that.
But if he's making these improvements on his legs, he could be unstoppable.
I want to see, of course, if training a little bit differently for the legs could expand it.
You want to give him some tips?
Yeah, I do. It's a project I want to see if he's going to respond. Obviously, he's super strong. Obviously, he knows how to train. His hamstring from the side and from the back few legs are huge. You know, I still think the advice which Lee Priest did back in the day, when you have a shorter legs and longer torso, you have to make those opposing trunks, from the front go up, and he had them specially made. So he should try that too. But anyway, he was formidable. I think they say, he impressed more than Samson. So I say again, no, Samson was...
Biased.
Samson has a complete package. Like overall, he's so impressive. I mean, he's 300-something pounds. I don't know. He was not as heavy as normally because we took time off and rested and everything, and he's just starting his Olympia prep. But a combination of size, width, thickness, shape, Samson has it, and everybody knows how serious. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem, yeah. And he is now equally motivated and confident, like Nick would be, that, he can beat all the guys.
If you would say, what is Samson's biggest weakness to you?
Biggest weakness? Well...
nobody's perfect. Everyone has a weakness. What do you think
he's not a weakness. We need to improve still width and thickness of the back, because back shots. I don't believe shows a one from the back, but it's a major part. Overall. It's majorly, so that's the comments that he needed. Before, he needed a little bit more width in the shoulders. Now he has that. Nobody mentions that he needs to be wider. And then it's a conditioning to be at that level of super hard conditioned guy like Derek from the back, Hadi from the front, so some of those guys to match that conditioning.
Well, let's back up, because shows aren't run from the back. Derek would have won last year if that was the case. Mm-hmm. But if you have a whole lot of other stuff, that's what shows are want. Like, listen, I probably didn't have the best back of everyone. I mean, I was wide, but condition-wise, whatever, I still had a lot of other poses, right? So that's where, like, I just hate that. It's one from the back, that's become kind of like the stigma, right? Yeah. I don't like that necessarily. Yeah, I agree.
You mentioned that, I agree, but because of the back, to match Ronnie, you put the special effort to make that your
a little
back
more size, yeah.
Yeah, and you made it super competitive.
Yeah, definitely in the last spread. What do you think about Rami?
Well, it looks like, he's not big Rami, right? It's not triple X, it's just XL. Obviously, he's probably not training and doing supplementation and everything. He looked great still, but we expect ultimate freak. So Big Rami would usually dominate the group of people. If he steps on the stage with 5-6 people, he would be the biggest one. And he didn't dominate. I mean, Samson was right there, just as big or bigger. And when you think that Nick is, 5'2"? Actually,
you're a bully.
Yeah, no, Clarita's 5'2".
Yeah, I'm just joking, because I was standing next to Nick Walker and took a picture for my Nick Walker Hater President Club, right? And he was taller than me, and somebody said, "Hey, Did he step on something? And he didn't. So if he's 5'2", I'm 5'1".
Maybe
he's 282. I mean, it's a monster, right? And then Derek is a monster. The biggest shocker for me at Olympia, because we were front row, I got your seats for prejudging.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. When Derek came and opened up, it was like, Jesus Christ, he was his widest in the lineup.
The illusion, yeah.
Yeah, illusion, the super teeny tiny waist, but just width. And then, turning to the back, the same thing, like, holy. So, yeah, Rami was good, quite lean. But even Steve Weinberger said in a recent interview, like, he would want him to rest and have a good old season to regain the muscle that he has lost due to those injuries. Whatever we want to admit it or not, there is still, triceps is not exactly in back, not exactly in shoulders like he used to be. And he's 38 years old. It's
the arms seem to be suffering a little bit, right?
Yeah. I'm disconnected.
We'll plug it in.
Just check his thing.
You good now?
I don't know what happened. I didn't touch something. Oh, yeah. That's why I'm disconnected.
Oh, look what you did. I'm going to put the camera on you. I wonder if I can.
Okay.
What did you do?
I think you kicked me under the table. Yeah.
Yeah, Rami seems like the arms are kind of suffering a little bit still. He's not the biggest one anymore. I mean, Samson's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Really, if you want to go weight-wise and, just that monstrous full round muscle. But like you said, probably some time down, which is probably good for him. My question is, do you think he'll do the Olympia?
Who, Rami?
Yes.
No, 100%. So. He's not even qualified. Even
if
he
qualified for life.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, if you were.
I know that they used to be. That used to be, right?
No, it's how it is. Every division.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So, I listened to a lot of the podcast talk about all the different people guest posing, and the people they kept talking about was actually Hunter, that he looked as big as anyone up there. I kept hearing this. They kept saying how big he looks.
Yeah, so we have Hunter and we have Clarita to talk about. But let's talk about Hunter because he impressed me, and I'm going to go on record I think he's going to be the surprise of the year this year. I think Hunter's going to surprise people.
I would not disagree with you. Even when he was coming up as a pro, winning some shows, there is that shape and size and width and everything. If he's complete and shredded, he would be a danger for everybody because he has a V-taper. He's
got crazy shape.
Yeah, he has no weaknesses. He has a thickness, so he has a beef, right? And he's bigger now. I've seen the Instagram pictures and videos. Yeah, I would agree with you. If he keeps that size and just gets sliced and diced. Look, we were expecting more because he was fourth in 2021. Yeah. So 2022 slipping to the seventh, yeah. That's a major disappointment. It's not like he was off. He was just...
There's just a lot of good guys.
Yeah. Six guys that, yeah.
It wasn't like the year when he got fourth. Remember, he was eighth in his first one, I think, so.
Yeah. So Hunter is a danger. Guy has zero weakness, beautiful shape, beautiful presentation. He just needs to come.
And he works, he's out there promoting. He's doing a lot of guest posings. I mean, he's probably one of the most, I know Samson's been doing a lot lately, but he's one of the most out there efficient guys getting out on the circuit.
That's been like a criticism I've had for a long time. These guys, they don't want to travel. They don't want to do appearances. They turn them down, and they don't realize that you got a window of opportunity to make a name for yourself.
A lot of guys are doing media, though, and think maybe that's a better outlet.
You still got to do... I still think you have to do both.
Yeah, how many guest posings you did a year?
Oh, I did a lot, man, but... Like at the time, that was the thing,
right? 30 weekends out of the year?
It's hard to say. It was up and down.
Pretty much every weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. Still to this day, I'm still booking a lot of stuff.
Yeah. We were just looking at the schedule, and there's appearance where we had more appearances coming in, and I said to him, dude, this is like 12 weekends in a row. Take 1 or 2 weekends, don't do anything, and then we'll pick it back up. Yeah. But he's still the most in-demand person. A decade later, for a reason, though.
For a reason, yeah.
Because you put in that work and you built that foundation in the past.
All right, so Sean Clarita.
Sean Clarita.
Crazy round, right?
Crazy round, crazy thing. But you see, that, what we discussed before a little bit, separates 212 and open division, right? So in 212, he's pretty much untouchable,
Yeah.
right? It's in a league on his own,
Yes.
So how can you even, compare anybody? Well, when he came to the Arnold Classic in a top condition, again, he hardly made a top 5, right? So when we put this in perspective, right, this is why we have those classes. So here he was surrounded with the monsters. He looked great and all that stuff, but you can see the difference.
Yeah.
So I think that Sean is going to just fare well in the 212.
I think he has some good competition. I mean, we're going to roll into some of these contests that we just ran through.
Yeah.
I know New York had a 212 also that we didn't. I don't think we're covering as much because
we should mention because
okay.
Caddy,
You might know a little more. I just don't have the lineup in front of me.
Yeah, I trained.
But let's just hold on a second. So before we get into discussion, we're going to talk about Tonio because he was at 212. We talk about Hadi, Derek, and all these guys that are taking now position that have exited that division because either they couldn't. I mean, Kamal's the same instance, right? What does this mean for the future of 212? Where do you see it going?
I think the 212 should stay. It is the give outlet for those guys. They cannot compete in the open division fairly. And I think it's still good. They should keep 212. I don't know why Arnold Classic doesn't have 212. It's a major show, so I'm kind of disappointed for that one. But look, Olympia show was exciting. Before seeing Derek and Clarida and Kamal fighting for the now Calderon, the guy that won New York 212, Kerit Baggio.
Yeah, he's very
phenomenal to the point that I asked Steve Weinberger, what do you think if Kerit Baggio was going against Tonio? He said he would be super competitive. So Tonio was 212 before. He switched to the Reno, to the open division, and placed third.
He got fourth when we were there. He placed behind
Sergio?
Sergio.
Sergio was third.
And
he was
Clarita won. Yeah.
Antonio is phenomenal. I mean, a cartoon character, round muscle bellies, like really popping everywhere. Beautiful structure, super small waist, sweeping thighs. So
his thighs are probably the most impressive thing, right? He's got that crazy upper sweep, right?
Yeah, I think he's just jam-packed. When he turned around, back is so thick. So he lost yesterday, and we're going to discuss that. But in New York, I think it was crystal clear that he won the show. I mean, the most complete, most aesthetic, most conditioned, the overall package. I don't think there was questioned. Beef stew?
Yeah, Stuart Sutherland,
Beef stew.
New pro.
I do think that Beef Stew competed in one show last year.
Yes, he did, yeah.
And I think this is his best showing so far. Prejudging, I don't think there was even competition. I think that Tonio won hands down. And then I guess at finals, a few people raised the brow like, oh, maybe because he's a little wider and some poses, maybe he can oversize Tonio. So there was even Steve Weinberger suggesting that if he comes ripped to pieces, condition improves by Cal, he can give Tonio a run for his money. So it was quite close, Still, Tonio dominated New York. Third guy was from Czech. I don't know if it's Czechoslovakia.
Sure.
So, yeah, Josef. I'm sorry. I didn't really double check where is he from. Beautiful physique. Oh my God. Upper body is just like ridiculous. But for his height, he still need to improve legs. Conditioning off the chart.
How tall? He's taller.
I would say over 6 foot. Yeah. Over 6 feet. Yeah. He was third. Just Heeman, always conditioned, always complete. He just doesn't have maybe that beautiful shape of some of those guys like Tonio has. I mean, really, when you look at Tonio, you shed the light and just look at the silhouette. Perfect. Those round muscle bellies, which I'm going to compare, for Russ Fanningen that beat him yesterday. There was a little bit difference there. But in New York, Antonio won hands down, and Eric Wood was 5th, and then Max Charles was 6th. I don't know if you know that I was helping Max again.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
I didn't know
good,
that.
good.
Yes. I mean, we got together again, and he says, look.
The best he looked when he was working with you a couple years ago.
He said we had established that relationship, and we have unfinished business. Let's finish it. And this year is Masters Olympia, which is his major, competition that he wants to win. But he
could win that.
He plans to. And so he was. He's from New York. New York Pro means so much to him, and he always believed that he could. He believed in this show that he could, beat all these guys. He doesn't believe that those guys are superior to him. But from the front, he has that hardness that is hard to match. I mean, when you look, some
Really
people
full,
can be
yeah.
some people can be lean, but don't have that extra hardness. Yeah. Chris Aceto used to say, like, the Max has that extra genetic hardness that not too many people have, and really freaky from the front, but back is a different story, and that's what they're looking. I mean, they're waiting for him to turn around, and
the front,
he's still not there from the back, so he's going to have to improve this for.
What do you think the issue? What do you feel is what you need to do?
He's going to just need to be even leaner. You know how it is when you have a body fat anywhere. Some people have it distributed all over, so gradually it goes down. But some have a deep
stubborn spots.
Yeah, stubborn, and this is the last thing to go. So I told him, hamstring glutes have to come up big time, and his actually upper body now is upper back biceps. There's a detail. So I said, look, comparing to before, it's way better. You're just going to need to dig deep and go into the Romania. You're going to be there.
Yeah.
Are you going to go?
Not planning, but, you never know.
I was just curious.
Last time I was in Romania, I was putting a collar on Jay.
Yeah. I thought you were emceeing
why don't
or something.
Why don't you compete?
Yeah, good idea.
I mean, Jay's competing. Why don't you compete with him?
All right, we're gonna change. Yeah. We're switching gears to
Cali
the California Pro Memorial Weekend. So we just had that show yesterday.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at the decision?
Yeah.
I texted you last night, and I said, what do you think?
Yeah. So first, knowing that Sergio Oliva is coming,
it was kind of like that was the talk, right? Yeah. Oh, it's going to be his show, right?
Yeah, because Sergio in last couple
looks crazy in the pictures,
months,
right?
Yeah, everything is there. First, width, completeness, size, condition, shape, everything was there. And when I look these Instagram posts, I didn't look at the high resolution footage until today. So I've seen high resolution, so it's I'm more competent now to talk, because you guys were in Arnold Classic UK, which I didn't see live, and you had a completely different vision than what I saw. So I don't make a judgment just from Instagram posts. In Instagram posts, I said, he's looking quite competitive. Conditioning was not that far off from the first two guys, especially from the front and even side. From the back, you could have seen, okay, maybe that's where they got him. But he's so much bigger, so much wider, and he has those stellar poses. I mean, frontal biceps, most muscular, the lat spread, he's wider than them. So legs were very good. Did you see?
Yeah, I mean, they were detailed, but...
Detailed, yeah.
I just expected more. And I think because, it was supposedly a last-minute flight, he's been back and forth. When you hold these conditions and you think, okay, I can go at any time, he seems like he was really dry the last month, too.
Throughout,
and that can be difficult when you get on a flight, you fly, you retain water, and then you try to drag water out. It's just it's a very hard balance, right?
God knows with the time difference. What was it, 9-10 hours time difference?
From the East Coast, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Dubai, probably 15.
It's 12 hours.
Is it 12?
12,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's not...
I was thinking, Hong Kong.
No.
But I mean, he would be first favorite. If he was in same conditioning as everybody else, I think he would have won. When I've seen the high-resolution footage this morning, I was like, okay. Ross Flanagan, which I've seen him a year ago in Dragon's Lair, that I didn't even put two and two together. That's the same guy, because for me, when I saw him a year ago and this year, it's a two different man. This man improved so much. It's like, holy shit. Size, even, when you're missing, he had heavy legs and upper body was not up to par. Now it's still, legs are off the chart, but he managed to look balanced. And he was off the chart condition. I think Dominique Cardone is his coach, and they did a phenomenal job. When I seen pictures initially, I thought, okay, him and Antonio, it's similar condition. Antonio would beat him on shape.
I thought that for sure. I thought Antonio was hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't familiar with Ross, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I still see like the upper body can still get bigger to match. The quads were definitely he was bigger, right? Bigger person than Antonio, right? So, and condition. And they said it was like splitting hairs. It really was a toss-up. Do you think, because of the qualification, you ever think that?
I don't think they favor. Look, prejudging, Antonio won. If you see the score sheets, Antonio, I think was 8-7, and finals were 9-6.
Well, they said definitely Ross came back at night better than the morning.
Yeah. What you're saying is the same thing. When you look the very similar condition, because Tonio was conditioned. Tonio was, so dominant in shape and completeness department. Like I said, Ross still needs a little bit more thickness upstairs. Visible from the back, Tonio had those lats, like a couple of pounds of meat on both sides extra that Ross didn't have. And conditioning was... Tony is always conditioned.
Would you have had a problem with Antonio winning?
If I was a judge, I would probably give it to Tonio.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? Yeah. I asked you a question, and I wanted to see your reaction, because so many people say, well, it was close, but, they wanted to qualify him. But we know lately that's not proven. Because look at your guy from Iran, who, he competed against Brett last year, right? And people thought for sure, they're going to give Brett the qualification. You gave it to you.
Yeah.
I don't think they care one bit.
No, they don't.
Nope.
They don't.
Zero.
I'm not kissing ass of the IBB Pro League, but there is no fix. The race.
But no one was speaking about Ross at all. Like, he wasn't even a front runner.
If they were going to fix a show, they would have put Sergio in.
Okay.
Just because he's a big name.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they didn't, because it's fair.
But
to qualify. I asked you. Leading up to the show, I said, who's going to win? And you said Sergio for sure.
I thought Sergio would.
To qualify, he would be a big name. It would be good for everybody.
For everybody, yeah.
Yeah, it would be good for everybody.
Huge name.
But here it is. You mentioned something interesting. You didn't even know who Ross Flanagan is, right? Many people didn't. What would his Las Vegas odds to win the contest be? But this is for all these, experts. They would always, this guy has no chance. This guy has no chance. Everybody has chance, and these guys are so close that at any given day, anybody can show up and win. This is, you're crazy. Samson was only sixth when you said, okay, I see him top 3 last year, but when we talk about it last time, I'm a biased coach. No, what are you talking about? It's such a little difference. Anybody can do that. Who would give Jay Cutler 2001 going into the Olympia chance
Zero.
that he's going to...
That's why that's why I never do like predictions or anything, because I've been around, and you guys know this way more than I do, but I've been around long enough to see how much somebody can change in 5 minutes before they go on stage.
Yeah.
There's a million variables that can happen the week of, the night before, the food, the hotel bed, the family problem. There's so many things that can happen. It only matters during that 15 minutes when you're on stage.
Who knows that better than me when you're looking? It's like, oh my God. It's something is happening that I don't predict, right? You can never predict it. Yeah. But Ross, congratulations! You and Dominic did a phenomenal thing.
How excited was he?
Oh man,
crazy, right? It was
just
awesome.
imagine.
I saw that. That's
just
great.
imagine.
Pretty cool.
So I'm wondering if actually he had a faith going into the show that he can win. I was going in all those shows before when we talk about confidence. I didn't even consider I can win.
He acted pretty surprised, so I don't know if he realized he could actually. I'm sure once he stood there and he battled, they called it the two out there.
Yeah, but
just like you in 01.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I watched the video over and over, and I tell this story because I ran into Lonnie Teeper in the elevator in Mandalay Bay, and I was with Chris, and he's like, "So how are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to win," and he kind of like made this face like, "The balls are you," but and we were friendly, right? And then, after his jaw hit the floor when we got called, like I was 11 and 12 next to Ronnie number wise, and it was like, wow, Jay Cutler's like beating Ronnie Coleman from the front. I'm sure you felt the same way, right?
Same way, yeah.
So
talk about this.
You just don't know in circumstance.
But how many times do we watch where we see a show and you think someone's like they're gonna be top 2, and they're just way off.
Yeah, hold on.
Big names too.
So, but Jay, you actually felt you're going to be battling with Ron before?
Yes, I did. Before. I did because, let's reverse back to 2000. We went on the European tour.
And the British.
In the Gap. Remember, only I was 8th in 2000. Ronnie won, and no one in between went on the tour. So automatically, just by default, I was the next in line, right? Mm-hmm. I know James came and whatever. So, but they were finished deep. I think he was like 10th or 12th or something, right? So I'm like, you know what? I got to stand next to Ronnie, and Chris is like, listen, Jay. And I believed Chris at the time. We know Chris can get excited about things sometimes, but he showed me, he's like, look at these pictures. And back then we didn't have like filtered pictures or anything. He's like, you can battle him, because Ronnie wasn't overly big. He was huge, but he wasn't he wasn't the Ronnie Coleman of 03 plus whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I was 260 on stage, right? I was still pretty big. I mean, I turned pro at 248 at the Nationals. So, I mean, all those shows I was still weighing that kind of position, except for the Ironman. When I competed with you, I was 240. But
when I beat you.
Yeah. No, yeah. Anyway, so, and I went up, I was actually 246 for the Arnold, and I beat you the next week. So
the gift.
So when I saw the comparison back in 2000 in England, I said, well, hey, I have a good shot at this. So I prepared all year, and Chris is like, I'm telling you, if you just listen to what I do, you eat and you train and you do what I do, you're going to beat him. And I did a high carb diet, the whole diet, and I was lean at 10 weeks out.
Insulin diet, insulin.
and I came in, no cardio.
You know, he says that a high carb diet.
And I killed it.
Yeah.
And I arguably could have won that show.
Do you have any pictures from 2001 British?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at it. There's a video online.
Yeah.
There's a video online. So
there's
anyway,
video from that?
So I knew that I had a shot, right? Now, by circumstance, I drew 11 and he drew 12. How convenient that is. It's like I tell you with Samson, like
being next
to Rami, it was like a perfect storm, right? Yeah. So that's what that opportunities sometimes are there. Luck. Yes, and I do call that luck, because the numbers are random.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? If I stood on the other side of the stage, would I have got the shot?
You probably eventually would, but
maybe not though. Maybe.
But listen, it would have been like who was at the back of the pack and moved up? Was it Dennis Wolf that moved up one of the shows? No, one of the years there was a guy that was way in and he moved up. Ronnie Coleman.
I mean,
Ronnie Coleman, 98.
I was there. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman was
he even in the first call out?
Fourth call out.
Yes.
And then moved.
Yes.
Gustavo Badell, 2004, was a 12th man called out, and then moved all the way to top 3. So this thing happened. But I already said this in the podcast. I'll never forget. I was kind of like 15 seconds late to be at the prejudging of 2001, and I'm coming there, and before you hit this seat, I'm looking from far, and it's like, geez, my jaw dropped, because you was standing next to Ronnie and looking better than him. And then I don't know if you winked at me when I went there. I was just like, I was glued to like, oh my God, look at Jay, and he winked at me. Like, shit. I was shocked because you were beating him in that shot. Of
Well,
course.
we were good. We were pretty good friends then because I was coming to your gym, I think, at the time, and so we were in communication.
Yeah, but I did not expect that from you. I mean, really, you know. When,
Do you think, is there, and this is way off topic, is there someone this year that you think could just do something like that and get up in that top
move
three
from
that
like
we weren't-
8th or 9th forward?
Like maybe a Michael Krizo. If you
Michael Krizo is an absolute freak. I mean, you know, so
It looks like he's improved too.
he, let me tell you this, he has that ability to have a cellophane skin. And as you've seen, fibrotic tissue
see it in
and
his
round
arms.
muscle, everything. He can be super, super dangerous. He needs to fix his posing a little bit, widen his back. I think that he's coming super strong. And look, you know how it is. Once they give you a chance, and you can keep moving on. And I think this Olympia is going to be a lot of comparisons and giving a chance. Top 10, anybody can switch. So Michael Krizo is a major.
How come he doesn't come to Vegas and train with you?
And he has a Russian or Czech coach for a long time, and you know, I don't. I mean, of course, I would love them to come here and do
I know, but it doesn't
just
mean
some
that
guest.
you just want to take him
Yeah.
through a workout. It's like you taking Walker through and him having
Yeah,
a trainer and
yeah.
all
I
that.
think, you know, there's always, we can all learn from each other and the different techniques, and it just, when you have that physique, what do you have to focus on? Check. He needs to be wider. Okay, wider back, definitely. He needs to control that abs, make it deeper, and then detail from intercostal serratus. I mean, for guys as big as that, right? When you have that detail here to the side, which you had every time when you turn, that completes the package.
Yeah.
Thickness and then illusion of that detail. So he needs that because he has a fibrotic shoulders and chest, and you know, back is good. Arms, most freakiest thing ever.
World class.
Yeah.
Him and Nick Walker maybe like the two.
Him and
arm
Nick,
guys.
in front of a biceps, upper body wise, can be really put together and analyzed. Yeah,
It's like Rolly
biggest.
level with those guys, huh?
But it's, I mean, Krizo's tall.
Yeah.
He's my height.
Who else? Oh yeah, Andrew Jack. You've seen today's.
He looked impressive. Yeah, we're working with William Bonnick. How about that? Bonnick kind of coaching him a little bit.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I've seen it today for the first time. We've seen the potential of Andrew Jack. He has that height and width. He needs more downstairs thickness. Yeah, and it seems like he's getting it. I don't know which show he's planning to do. I would assume.
He's doing Texas, right?
I spoke to Psycho. There is talk. I mean, he is going to be here prepping for the last few weeks before the Olympia, but you know, he did give me kind of a little update, and he told me, you know, things are looking pretty solid for his.
I think he said he's doing Texas again, right?
Yeah, well, that's originally what he had said, but I didn't confirm it yesterday.
Oh, I don't
with
know if it's
Psycho or
confirmed.
not.
Yeah, William Bonnick is taking a year off. He's going to do the maybe Arnold Classic next year.
Okay.
So it's perfect for him to coach him. And,
I like seeing that.
yeah, I
Camaraderie,
love
just
it.
helping someone else out because he's still new. Like he's new.
Yeah.
All right, so Sergio, I mean,
What does Sergio have to do?
He didn't. You know, he must have been in the 80s, right? Does he look like he's in the 80s?
He does. I mean,
He's tall, right? So
he does.
I mean, he's
He's,
wide. He
yeah.
looked pretty big up there compared to
Yes.
those guys. Don't
I
you
mean,
think?
what did you think was off? I mean,
Well,
legs were ripped, dry.
From the front, he looked pretty good. I think from the back, you could just tell there was just, you know, a little bit of flatness, like water.
Yeah.
You know, the lower back didn't look like it was as tight. You know, he didn't peak. You know, and he knew it. He was very honorable about it. He just said he loved to get on stage. So where does he go from here?
Well, apparently he's going for some appearance in Italy. He's not going to compete
for Panada.
He's not going to compete in Toronto, which, again, we were talking, why they don't compete? Oh, my God. Why they
Toronto's
don't
going to be
compete?
kind of stacked, isn't it?
Well, I mean, Ian's doing that
Ian's
show
doing
because
it.
I commented on Melissa's Instagram. She's like, he's a week out, he's mowing the grass by hand with his Jordans on, and I said, well, that's very dedicated, you know.
When is Toronto?
It's
This weekend.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought it was always in
coming
July.
up, yeah, June.
Yeah,
So it's
it's-
June 2nd weekend, or
Yeah, June Sunday.
okay.
sorry, not
So let me
Saturday.
ask you a question. So does Ross go to Toronto now? He's qualified. Does he go into Canada?
I would. Hell yes.
Well, because
You know
you're
why?
Milos, yeah.
You know why? Go stand next to Ian It's
not
a top
just that.
10 guy.
It's not just
How
that.
does he? I mean, we haven't seen Ian's improvements yet, so we can't really talk about him.
But should Ross be afraid of competition? He's going to be on the Olympia stage with all those guys. So he's a pro. He's in top condition. 7 days after this show, he can earn more money, be seen by all the promoters, and
get stood next to it.
Of
One of the
course.
top guys in the world.
What's your profession? Pro bodybuilder. What do you do? You compete for a living? Hey, guess what? There is a job to be done.
I want to see Sergio back on stage, though. Hopefully he's
I hope
going to
so,
stay.
too.
Hopefully he's going to hang out here for a minute and not.
There are some
be
European
discouraged.
shows that I could kind of see.
Okay,
that
yeah,
that's what he's
you're
gonna
right.
do.
He could do that. So does Stewart shut it down now? Does Stu shut it down? What do you think?
Oh, wait, I was
No.
just going to say, that's the show Crizzo's doing. He's
What?
doing the Spain
Yeah,
show in like 3
Spain
weeks,
show,
right?
yeah.
Like 3 weeks, there's a Spain show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spain, yeah.
I
So
think it's
maybe
Spain.
maybe Sergio stays over
Yeah,
in Europe and competes there.
Yeah. Well,
We'll have to get it. We'll have to get.
He's
him.
going to
We'll
have a
ask
tough
him.
show with Michael Crizo, yeah.
That'd be great.
But Stuart Sutherland, we call him Beef Stew.
Now he's done 2 in a row here. So what do you think?
He should keep going. I mean, he's
Did he
He's
improve?
that close.
Did he improve though between New
actually.
York and California?
I think he did. I think he did. Really, it's just that it was tougher contest. I think from the pictures that
Where
I've
does he
seen,
need to improve,
tightened up.
Milos? Most, if you could nitpick a little bit, because he seems to have a lot of body parts. You know.
Yeah, he's wide. So same thing like Ross and Antonio. Maybe Stu and Ross could be wider, but Antonio is bubbly, round, right?
So
it's
back
bursting.
thickness.
But so thickness for Stu also.
He's young, right?
He is bigger. Even Steve Marberger said, like in comparison, he was bigger than Antonio. So if he just comes shredded and in condition, he has the tools to beat Antonio, and he could have possibly. But hey, those 4 guys were super competitive. I actually thought that they would give Sergio still more chance after seeing.
Well, they said
Instagram.
it was a toss up between him and Stu, actually.
Yeah,
You know, and
but when I've seen the high resolution, then I've seen the really Ross condition was considerably better, and they went for conditioning. You know, so yeah, I think that California always looks kind of West Coast judges. You know, for
I
the
think Sandy
conditioning.
was actually calling the show, to be honest. So
Yeah, it was
They
good.
have the good quality judge panel.
If I'm a judge, I would give it to Tonya.
So
but,
I'm gonna ask a question. Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens with Tonio or Ross at the Olympia?
Somebody mentioned like Tonya, it can be top 6, and it's super bad for me to say no chance, right? Because that's like so.
I mean, let's talk
so
about we got
bad.
Hottie, we got Derek,
Yeah.
Nick, we got Samson. I mean, we had Rami in there last year. No one's talking about Brandon Curry right now.
Brandon, Hunter,
Yes.
Andrew Jack.
Yes.
You know, there is
It's not
a
gonna be in the top 6.
list. I mean, so I would,
anything
I would
can
eat
happen. I don't wanna
my
say
words.
never,
Anybody-
but
yeah, never say never.
There's a lot of really, really good guys that have been in the top 6 consistently.
So absolutely
Or top
beautiful.
10, I should
Look,
say.
so here, this is how I look at it. Absolutely beautiful physique, and can even be conditioned. Well, guess what? Sean Clarida, conditioned out of his mind, complete as can be, could only make a top 5 in Arnold Classic lineup, not Olympia lineup. You know, some guys missing. So that's why I don't think it's realistic, but I think he would be probably happy to be contender and squeak in the top 10.
So I'm
I don't
looking
know.
at, just so you guys know, I'm looking up the schedule here right now. So Toronto is this Sunday, and then the 18th is Spain of June. The 1st of July is Orlando, and then the 9th of July is Portugal. And then there's the Vancouver Pro, the 14th, and then Chicago's the 17th, and then another show in Spain on July 30th, and then Tampa. I mean, there's 8 or 9 shows in a 10-week period there.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm sure we're
wonderful.
going to see Sergio and some of these other guys
Yes.
hit these shows.
Now that's
So
the question.
so Nathan, we're going to see too, at which he's been a top 6 guy at the Olympia.
7th. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
He got 7th his second year. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, does someone like Tonio beat him? It's
That's
tough, right?
man. Nathan's a big dude, man.
Yeah.
Nathan's got shape and he's got the size. He's got crazy size.
Yeah.
He's another one of those guys that's got those insane arms that
Yeah.
these other guys are like.
Nathan has everything. If he comes conditioned, he can come in a very good condition. It's going to be super competitive. I mean,
and we still have Ian.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of the front runner for Toronto.
I would assume he's the
right?
front
Do we
runner.
have a Toronto list, or we don't have it?
I don't think so. Yeah, they used to put it out. They don't really put them out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still Hunter's still going to have to. I don't know what show he's going to do.
I think Texas.
Texas, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, maybe Tampa,
Yeah, I'm not
if
sure.
I remember correctly. What we were saying, should Ross compete?
Justin Shire's doing
He
also
should.
Tampa. I
Is
think
he?
I sent you
Okay.
that picture
Yeah,
yesterday.
he looks-
he's
looks-
impressive,
he looks-
dude.
he's
He's
really
good, right,
impressive.
Justin?
Yeah. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to
Because
look
that
like.
V-taper in small ways and
Yeah.
everything happening. Yeah. But Sergio, okay, I was going to mention this. Sergio is kind of too lean for too long.
That's what I said. I said that he's, when you're that dry and like his pictures, you're like, damn, like he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like if he could compete locally, it probably would have been like, hey, let's just cut the water that night before you go to bed and see what you wake up like, right?
You know who else we're missing that we weren't talking about? Rafael Brandao.
Yeah.
He's another top guy that.
He's wonderful physique. I love his
Is he
physique.
qualified or?
He's not qualified yet, but there is some issue, a medical issue that he had. He was
Oh, is he?
hospitalized.
Do,
okay, I didn't
do
know.
we have how deep is the list right now of qualified guys? I
It's
know
not
we
that
have.
deep yet.
I know we have a lot of repeat guys because of the top three from last year, plus our Mr. Olympia winners, right?
Yeah. So I forgot about that one. You know, it used to be when you...
Plus the Arnold Classic's already qualified people. Is
Yeah.
Arnold Classic one person or all top positions?
So
like
so
before?
far, Brett Wilkin was the first last
Yeah.
year. Hottie, Derek, Nick Walker, Brandon Curry, Rami, Samson, and Betruz,
Cruz.
and then the guys
Ross.
that won these last 2 weeks. The last two.
Oh, I
But
thought-
from this,
Tony.
we already know that. I'm assuming Rami's not going to compete, and we don't know what's going on
Well,
with Brandon.
you
I'm
know.
assuming, maybe not.
We don't
Yeah.
know that for sure.
Yeah.
These are some. I mean,
I was maybe wrong by saying for
Behruz
sure he's
can
not
get, if
competing.
he can get in America, he'll.
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna- he's
if
gonna
anybody
hurt some
can have
feelings.
Behruz come to America, I want him to do it now. He went to Dubai to get a visa, and then they told him, oh, well, 30 days for them to review it, and there was no 30 days time.
Has he started the process? now?
And he started last year, but 30 days later, now it's 130 days later, and he still didn't get it. So he has to push that issue. So whoever can help Behruz to get the visa on time. So it's not like, 3 days before you're going to get it, just like
Hey, I remember.
Hadi Chupan coming 3 days before the show.
And but with Hadi Chupin 3 days before, they started that process like 8 or 9 months before that. It took that long.
By the way, I would like to find out that for sure. I think it's Hadi Chopan, not Chupan.
Chopin? Oh, okay,
Chopan,
not sure.
yeah, because that's what I was calling him before, and then I heard Honey Rainbow call him Chopan. So it would be good if
Well, Honey would know more than we do.
yeah.
All right, so let me ask you a question. I know. What do you think people forget about? What'd you think about Hadi getting on Instagram and saying, "Okay, carry on, boys," or whatever he did? He posted that picture on Instagram, him posing.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I want to say this.
after the guest posing in Pittsburgh.
I want to say this. Everybody keeps talking about the guys that were at Pittsburgh, and you always hear what they're going to do this year, and they keep forgetting, like, you still got to beat Hadi. You still got to beat him, and he's not. He's going to get better. Hadi will make sure he's better.
Is he still the guy? I mean, arguably, he could have already been a Mr. Olympia winner, right? I mean, you thought so.
Well, put it this way. If you mentioned 2018 Korea, right, when he was competing against Flex, a lot of people see him beating Flex. And that was like first, okay, it would be a shocker. In 2019, he comes, and for me, he should have won.
He should have won.
Yeah, he should have won. He
Should've.
placed third. 2020, I think prejudging, there was something a little bit because he came
He
to
showed 3 days before.
13 minutes before the prejudging, yeah. And and then everybody said, like, if he looked at the finals, like he look, he
could have won.
Yeah, he could have. 2021, he could have won. I mean, I would have no problem. I was telling Dennis James, who was with Rami, I said, man, if I'm a judge, I would go Hadi's way. So, and then Hadi, less the condition from previous years, is still, best conditioned. I mean, Hadi's going to be super hot
This is
to
what
beat.
I thought of, and I never asked Hani this or anyone else, but we all know some of these guys sat backstage for 3-4 hours. And when Hadi walked out, I remember telling Jay, he didn't look his normal crazy hardness when he first came out, but he got harder as he did.
Yeah.
As he
We
went on.
watch him,
I
yeah.
wondered if, because they sat backstage for 3 or 4 hours, if that's why he didn't. because he didn't look his normal self. Normally, nobody would have been, even from the back, would have been as peeled as him. And this year, Derek looked more conditioned than from the back. Is that going to be, does that have anything to do with these guys standing around a certain amount of time? Could that have been a timing issue?
It could be. You said 20 minutes ago that in 15 minutes people can change. Right?
Yeah.
In 4 hours backstage.
So like if this year, I mean, and Hani is the best in the business of dialing him in, do you think he'll have his typical crazy, stupid shredded from every angle where he could just slam the door?
He cannot outsize Samson, right? And outshape Derek. And, the many things, so he has to play to his strengths. Yes, he won last year with that condition, but that condition this year maybe would not be enough.
He'll probably have to go back.
So they're going to have to tighten up. Yeah, this is my view on that.
What do you think?
I think, listen, he has a great coach.
Oh.
I have to give Hani props because he knows the combination. Yeah. He knows what he's up against. Like, we're saying these things, and he's already resolved that, right? Yeah. And he already knows exactly what he's going to look like, because when you have a guy that works hard, and he has two hardworking individuals in the top two, very hard. I know Samson is the X factor, and Nick is hungry. Mm-hmm. Those are going to be our top four, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it'll be the same.
Well, it's going to be who was fourth last year?
Brandon.
Okay, Brandon. But I think you're going to.
And we are not discounting Brandon, right? Brandon.
I know.
Hey, if he nails it, he could win again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I wasn't sure if he was going to do it, but he did confirm with me that he was going to compete. He came over to FIBO when we saw him, and you're right. So I hate to throw that out there, because he is capable if he really puts it together. And man, he's just been quiet, right? Yeah. So I honestly, my fault, because I kind of forget, But he has the roundness, he has the shape, and he just needs to find that combination that's gonna bring him back to title.
I think it's gonna be, and I'm not saying it can't be done. I think so many people are just assuming one of these other guys is gonna win, and you still gotta beat Hadi.
You already said Hunter can be super dangerous. Yeah. Hunter in a condition of his lifetime with this new added size, I mean, he can be a problem.
Yeah, he could move up in there.
Andrew Jack can be a huge problem. Michael Krizo, hell yes. I mean, people say, he was out of top 10, so he's not contender. What are you talking about? I mean, Ronnie was
his
ninth
first Olympia
at 97 and won.
I think Andrew. If I was Andrew, I mean, I'd just be eating and eating and eating and eating, because I feel like his physique just needs food, like constant food. And, he did come on this podcast and mention he only ate,
he barely ate
three meals a day or something.
Just a genetic freak. From what I gather, he's
just think if he had
a lot.
If he had the Milos
carb diet.
The special product.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Intra-workout?
Yeah, but I mean, it's okay. We don't have a name for it.
We don't have a product yet.
Milos juice.
Listen, okay, and you've been there already. Did you take corners anywhere? You knew that you have to eat billion meals a day.
The food. Right
now
you're
eating 6 meals.
I'm eating 6 meals, and this is very difficult. Like, I sat last night after 5 meals, and I was sitting on my couch, and I'm like,
what are you doing?
And I said to myself, why did I sign up for this? Because it's the hardest thing to get back to those 6 meals. Eating the protein amounts. Like, I was eating, 4 or 5 ounces of protein, 6 ounces. But when you start boosting to 8 to 10, like you just watched, that was about 10 ounces right there. And that was a cup of rice, which isn't a lot.
You handle it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I've been doing, 6 meals. I'm not eating shakes.
But what I'm saying is, you knew that it's not just training. It's not, you're going to have to eat. And then you hear somebody like Andrew Jack. Andrew, please. Such a talent, genetics and everything else. But you already know, I know I'm doing the wrong thing. I know I'm not doing it.
No, he was talking about before. Now he's not. This is before he turned pro.
Everything has to be maximized.
Yeah.
And if you can honestly check, I did maximize my protein intake, my caloric intake, requirements, timing, everything is good. you know that you check the box.
The problem is, though, Milos, is there's not a real formula. There's an assumption to what we need. Do you feel that people over or under eat? Yes.
Yeah.
But how do you know that,
Each
that
person's
person can
genetics,
eat 8 ounces or 10 ounces or 12 ounces of meat?
Yeah. So for me, that was very easy. I was documenting everything, and I had my original approximation. This is what I need. And then inspect what you expect. Week later, okay, shit is not happening, or it's happening.
So you changed it and upped
then
it.
you add and add. So that's how the protein intake. You don't need that much.
You add harder training. You add compounds. You add these things to genetics or metabolism.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It takes experience and it takes trial and error. You can't pick up a guide and say, okay, well, if you're 235, you're going to eat this much protein, with this much body fat and this much output of training and.
No, it's
right?
trial and error.
Yes,
it is for sure, but you can have an educated guess and start for maximize. This is extreme. So,
but don't you think people expect, especially like I'm talking about clients and everything, like that someone like you should have the know-how to immediately learn their body?
Yeah. It's unrealistic to expect. I'm a coach, and that's what I do for so many years. There's no way that I can look at you and tell you, oh, yeah, I can immediately tell. No. All my clients, first they have to give me their present diet, present foods that they eat.
That apart.
I don't give them my chicken, turkey, fish, beef, or whatever else. No. I work with the foods that you eat. I'm just going to time it differently and put the amounts of appropriately. That's why all the diets are different. Oh, this guy, that guy. But the basics is, what do we want? We want to ensure constant influx of amino acids in the bloodstream. So enough protein that we have all the amino acids for every tissue, every need, enzymes, hormones, muscle, hair, blood, we have it. If you don't have enough, then protein is, the muscle is last place that's going to go. So you can maximize. So protein, even if you overdo it a little bit, what? Glycogenic amino acids are going to be converted into glucose. So what? I push protein. Now, carbs and fat. If you're fatso,
what you guys trying to say over here? Why you guys hating on me?
Yeah, you
I'll still take both of your lunch money.
Yeah. So basically, you can't put too many calories and too many carbs. If you don't burn it, you don't spend it, right? So that's what needs to be adjusted, and it's night and day difference.
3 most important supplements outside of food.
EAAs,
yep,
100% for sure. That is a multivitamins, and then performance-wise, creatine.
Okay, there you go.
And I take none of those 3. You know
what I take?
That's why you look like you do.
I take caffeine.
I sent you the couch thing yesterday. Did you like it?
Why? It's the greatest.
By the way,
I hope you send it to someone.
I'm going to send it to everybody.
Before I forget, I have to put you on the spot. June 3rd is Torture Gym grand opening, and they ask, is Jay coming? I said, I passed to him, so now you.
What did I say?
They've already known this
you'll
answer.
Try. You say you'll try. And
No. What did I say? If you would like me to come there.
Oh, you did?
I
would very much like you to come there. Yeah, I would very much like to.
I will. I will be there. If it means
a personal invitation from you.
If it means something to you, 100%, I will be there.
Hell yes.
He'll show up for 15 minutes.
No, I'm not gonna come in and do giant sets, but you love that. You reposted something the other day. So I asked about Regan. I said, "Is Regan killing it?" And he said,
and then he called me a fat.
No, you say I do.
And I said, "No." He said, "Regan doing giant sets."
I said, no.
You posted it online.
I said, you asked how he's doing. I said he's huge, and then he says, is he doing a giant sets? And before I even answered it, I said he's not doing it because otherwise he wouldn't be huge.
Yeah, that's it.
Hashtag asshole.
So he's not doing giant sets then?
No, I mean, listen, Regan is first. Absolute super freak. He's strong as can be, and he is so perfect, meticulous in execution of the movements. Yeah. And then, he does some heavier, and then he drops the weight and all that stuff. So that's why I'm not much in it there. I like to train him on the legs because I want to.
I think as he gets closer to
and the chest.
Is he improving?
Yeah, he's going to be super dangerous.
We don't know. We don't know when he's competing, but
we know. Yeah, but we can't say it. Yeah, we can't say it. But
well, he pulled up his shirt yesterday on Instagram.
I mean,
and
look at he's almost 300 pounds, and he's still.
So, today, right before I came here, I said, "Let me see." That was a good light. There was like Chris Acino and Jay Cutler back in the day. They opened the fridge. That light.
I used to have people hold the light in the room, and that used to be my
wait a minute.
I was so ripped.
Is that where you got your Get Big nickname from?
No, you remember? I was in one of my videos, and I pulled my hands down and showed my in front of the refrigerator because it was like
I remember very well. Man, but anyway, that's a good memories. You miss competing?
No, I mean I get excited though when I hear about these up and comings, and I'm curious to see how I love to see Regan. I'm glad he stayed here.
Yeah,
because people have come and gone, and when Gustavo moved here, I think it was really good for him. He was training. He trained really
Dennis
hard.
Wolf.
Yeah, I mean I think. I always like to talk about Gustavo because he made some of the most improvements I've ever seen. He went from like a fourth tier bodybuilder to pushing us at the Olympia 2 years in a row, but he fell off so fast. I don't understand it.
Well, okay. So it's going to be a biased coach time, right? But
we all know you're biased.
I competed with Gustavo 2003 in my shows, and he placed nowhere.
I was at Muscle Camp when he came to see
you were there,
yes,
exactly.
Yes,
you remember the moment? Okay,
yes, in Miami. Yes,
but you remember what Sean Ray said at the time?
No,
because he came with that bag, and the bag was kind of here on his stomach, right? And so Sean was like, "What are you going to do with that? Look at his stomach, right?" That was November 2003.
It was around. There was nationals.
And
2003.
And the 2004 Ironman 3 months later. Yeah, it's about February, right? Already there he could have actually won the contest. They just didn't consider him. And then that year, you see him at Olympia, moved all the way forward. He was a hard worker, and he finally presented. You see, for that stomach issue that I'm saying this to everybody who's listening. If you let your stomach out all day long, you don't care, on the stage I'm going to, keep it in, guess what? You're not going to.
Yeah.
So what you and I probably do all our lives,
we trained abs a lot too.
We train abs too, but also not just that.
I'm training abs every other day right now.
I would make sure that I keep it in, glue it to this, because if I just let go, it's only going to get worse. And he was like this. So he came to the gym and we trained together, and he would do the biceps and let his stomach go. I said, Gustavo, you can't do that. Oh, no, but he's training. No, even when you're training, if you do whatever, it has to be, subconsciously that you're going to do this first at all times. And by 2003
we don't see the gut issue anymore, do we?
Not as much.
Not as much. There's a couple guys that let it out here and there, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
remember how bad it was with a lot of guys?
Almost everyone had it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the talk of, and that was mostly with transitions. And today, the transitions are viewed more than ever.
Yeah.
And we don't see the crazy.
I'm just wondering if guys are a lot more.
All these shows, nobody had it. Right? It's very good. Oh, by the way, and I'm going to brag about this. Have you seen Max Charles's waist? Holy macro! I thought actually
it was crazy midsection.
Yeah, maybe, but actually improved. Really? I was shocked, because when you see him, when Max sends you the posing video,
Max
40-something, but when he sends you 8 mandatory poses, how long do you think is a video? About 10 minutes. But right there, like, oh man, age is catching up, and he's losing his waist. I didn't expect it. His waist is smallest ever been, abs deepest, sharpest ever been. Like, oh my God, I loved it.
Did you ask him how?
Well,
I'm curious to know. Can you call him tonight and ask him? Say, Jay wants to know.
As a matter of fact, he sent me a message. I need to respond, but I prioritize my time with you guys.
You're disrespecting our professional show, sir.
Yeah, this was. I told Regan, hey, I have podcast. Can you want to accidentally stop by? But he was training. Yeah.
He ain't coming by here.
So before we jump off, and once again, we appreciate you coming on. For the coaching and for like people that you take on as clients and whatever else. I mean, how important is it for these people to follow the guidelines of what you suggest?
If you don't comply, what's the point of hiring anybody? I mean, I've been there before,
But you think people ask other people of opinions all the time?
Yeah.
If they just stick to one thing,
Yeah.
it's instead of having like a lot of outside noise, it's better.
When you have 2-3 experts coming into the same thing, it's going to be disaster.
When you have 2 or 3 experts and none of them are experts, that happens a lot.
But you choose something, right? And when you choose to go one direction, there is no straying away. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, because that was for a point. And I've seen that. I had this. That's not on the plan. Oh, yeah, but, this guy told me and that guy told me, then what's the point?
But what I like about what you're talking about, because we were joking about how Regan's training, and I know you trained many of your people with giant sets.
Yeah.
Including your non-competitors. But Regan is kind of giving you feedback.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I like that you're accepting of that.
Of course.
That's what makes you probably a great coach, mentor, friend, everything, right?
So,
because you should ask, like when you give a suggestion, you say, what do you think? That's important, right?
Yeah. Now, to analyze your training, you were known to have super high intensity. You did like 45-second rest in between, which is kind of going into
45,
my direction.
60 seconds.
Okay, but that's quite intense. A lot of people take so much more. And I don't see people think that I do giant sets. Hold on. I do both heavy duty. You do a couple of exercises for each body part. Same. Progressive overload, heavy, push the weight. And then this is myofibril hypertrophy. That's a major. Go heavy, go home. Okay. But then when you go for that feeling and pump and all that stuff, you can pump in a lighter weight, 15 reps, or maybe do the drop sets or supersets. And then when I realized, okay, if I want a really crazy pump, I started with superset, then added another one, and then that's how I come up with the giant sets. Like, hold on, I change angle, grip, stance, tempo, this, that, so I have a new stimulation. And this is why I do it.
But that's not for the weak people, because you have to have food and you have to have. That's when the interest is important, right?
I don't accept weak people.
No weak people.
Why would you be weak? Yeah. Oh, he changed the double split system, right? Not morning, evening, but January and July.
I might be fat, but I'll out-train both of you.
I know, but your shoulder's really bad right now.
Shoulders.
Why don't you get him some help with his
You
shoulder?
should see me training now.
Hey,
I couldn't keep up with a middle school bikini girl.
He needs an MRI for sure. Yeah.
Really?
Well, this
you
shoulder,
can't fit an MRI.
This
can you
shoulder,
do this right now, or does that hurt? Oh, that hurts. That looks painful.
So this shoulder, I tore the labrum 359 degrees in 2014. So they had to put 6 anchors in, and they had to move my biceps tendon, and I never got full range of motion back.
He got them. We went to a gym and did bench press. He did double the bench. We doubled the weight than I did.
I saw you got it on film.
With a screwed up shoulder?
Oh,
now he really yanked it up.
No, it's, you know what it was? I slept on it wrong, and then I went and trained, not heavy, and something's just off. And now, like, I went and trained yesterday, and we did nothing super heavy. Like, even when we went and did the hammer strength.
Plate loaded?
Yeah, plate loaded. I just did 2.5 plates. Where normally we would do 4 or 5 or whatever, 2.5. But
normally.
It didn't. No, we normally do. But even that was certain angle, it hurts. And I don't want to.
Yeah, so when we talk about this, and everybody that is training, body is not designed for pounding super heavy, for super long and all that stuff. That's why, my giant sets and all that stuff, it's much safer, right?
Works, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want a pain. You want a good pain. A good pain is a muscle pain, and this kind of any joint pain whatsoever, back off.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Well, I know in this shoulder, the last time I got a X-ray, I believe they said they could see arthritis on the inside of the shoulder socket. They could see it from the.
Oh, by the way, that's I didn't run this by you. Everybody that I train now, I would really tell them focus on pain, and not just pain. intensify that pain. Create, okay, you know how sometimes you feel pain and all that? No, can you intensify it? What do you mean? Okay, try to make the biggest pain you've ever felt in a muscle in every rep. Then you start manipulating, let me go a little bit slower, let me squeeze a little bit harder and all this stuff. So my message to everybody when they train, as soon as you do some exercise, find that pain zone, but then when you feel the pain, create that extra, be your own worst enemy. This is kind of thing that I'm doing, and it's super safe. Like this, joints would be healthy, but muscle would freak out. Mm-hmm.
We'll get it there.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we appreciate you coming on, man, and we always love having your opinion on this, and I'm sure a lot of our people will. Make sure you guys comment below what you guys think about this and our Olympia talk and what we prepare for 2023. I mean, it's going to be exciting in Orlando. You'll be there.
Yeah, of course. If you get me a ticket again,
I'll share my seats with you.
Yeah, let me put that in right away. Yeah.
But we'll have you back
listen,
on
hold on.
We have a lot of shows.
Have we ever not made sure you were good?
Yeah, you did.
Always.
Yeah.
And yes, I'll be at the Torture
Gym
appearance
June
next weekend. So if you guys happen to be in Vegas,
Yep.
Yeah.
we all will be in the house for the
I'm
new
going
gym.
to text Addie right now. She can make your photo.
It's on 215 and Rainbow, right?
Rainbow and Windmill.
Windmill, yeah. So it's just
South.
off the 215. And make sure you guys check out another facility we'll talk about in Las Vegas. I mean, we've trained in a million different gyms.
Maybe you can get Dave to come by.
Yeah.
And do
he is planning on
JTV.
filming it,
Yeah, good.
So, well, we appreciate it, and we're out for this episode. Thanks.
All right.